and I'll call on you. And then just please identify your name and who you're with. Start right here in the front.
Yeah, Ethan Westerman, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. There was a moment of silence before the game for what happened in New Orleans. Just was wondering what you thought about them taking time to do that and just your thoughts in general of the tragedy.
A lot of people's children and families. I cannot even imagine how they feel. I went back home to my state of Louisiana to be a positive. And you just wish that you could do something. And I thought it was very classy of Arkansas to do that. There were kids from our area, Baton Rouge. I can't quit thinking about it, to be honest. I can't quit thinking about it. It's so close to home. It just hits you right smack in the face. And you get emotional because I just cannot imagine those families right now and what they're having to deal with. You just pray. That's all you can do is just pray, pray, pray that somehow, some way they can deal with it and continue on with their lives.
Just, with the heaviness of that going on, what you think of your team? I mean, there was a lot of LSU fans in the crowd tonight to put on a performance like that, for the state.
Yeah, that's what took me so long to get in here. I went out there to do our radio, and it's people everywhere. But it's like that everywhere we go. We have created something that's very, very good in women's basketball at LSU. And when we go on the road to see fans that are really not LSU fans, but they're somehow, some way attracted to a player on our team or our team, and it's appreciated. And you're accessible. You want to be accessible. We want to help grow the game. And so I spent some time out there with personal friends of mine, but really Arkansas people who just want to take a picture or just see our kids. And we played well tonight. Everybody that played in the game did something very good. And we were able to play a lot of people. I think I started clearing the bench in the third quarter. And a lot of those players that were in there got very fatigued and winded because they haven't seen that much playing time in a while.
Last thing I got is Higginbottom, fourth leading scorer in the country. She got her points, but really limited everybody else up until the final quarter. Just how important was that to not let anybody else get involved?
Well, how many minutes did she play? She's a fantastic player. She got her average in threes. She made 1 3, which is about what she averages. I thought we did a good job on her when the game started with our starters. I thought we got fatigued with our bench, and she started getting some points, but it wasn't like we focused on the others. We really did focus on her. We wanted to take away layups from her. And I don't think she got a whole heck of a lot of layups. She got a lot of mid-range jumpers, and just an outstanding player. Yeah.
Paul, when you play a player like that, do you think about doubling at times, or is it kind of like you're going to challenge the other players to play great team defense?
Talking about guarding her, you're not going to double a kid with the ball in her hands. You double more with a post. You can hedge, which is what we did a lot of with our post at the top. We would hedge, and instead of fighting to go over the screen, we went under and tried to cut off her layups. She gets layups and free throws. And I said, let's just make her shoot mid-range. And she did. She made some mid-range, but I thought for the most part, we did a pretty good job on her. I thought all of her points might have come late in the ball game.
Anthony Christensen, you guys got a pretty balanced scoring effort, 4 players in double figures, and then a couple others with 8 or 9 points. Just how big was that in this game, and just how big of an emphasis has that been for you guys throughout the season?
Well, if you look at the minutes played, we had a lot of production from a lot of people. You know what you're going to get with Morrow, Johnson, and Williams, and those kids can average 20 a night, but I didn't have to play them but 22, 24, 25 minutes. And when you can do that, it prepares you for the next game. It rests you, and it allows them to just have a refreshness about them for the next game. And I just thought we were productive everywhere. I thought everybody looked to score the ball. Yeah, it was a good night for us.
Do one more in here and then we'll do a few on Zoom before we got to go catch our flight.
And then just like you said, you guys played well, got a good result. Just how important is it for you guys to start SEC playoff on this kind of foot?
Hey, this is the second time in 4 years I've had to open up on the road at Arkansas. I believe they getting in that commissioner's, the SEC's ear and telling them, bring LSU to Fayetteville every year. It's always good to win on the road. You win on the road and you beat the people you're supposed to beat, upset people every now and then that you're not supposed to beat, try to get a top 4 seed, play at home in the playoffs, and keep building this program. And we get to go home now and play an Auburn team that's probably prime and to play good, because I think they lost tonight at home. And it's a good league. Good league.
All right, we'll do a few on Zoom here. You can unmute yourself, and we got time for about 3 or 4.
Hey, Kim, Mike Scarborough, did you think that you might get to play 12 tonight? And of the reserves you got to play, did anybody surprise you? Did you like what you saw?
You don't go into a game thinking, oh, wow, we're going to be able to play 12 tonight. I go into a game and try to figure out how to just score one more point than the opposing team. But I could tell quickly, wow, we were just on, we were clicking on all cylinders. And a lot of it had to do with our transition offense. We would get long rebounds and everybody's got the green light and they can take off. And I just thought we ran the floor well in transition. I did think, of course, Gilbert is special. So her coming off the bench was nothing we haven't seen all year. I was very pleased with Poa. I expected them not to guard Poa and double down on Morrow in the post play, and they did that. But Poa gained some more of her confidence back tonight by hitting shots. I thought she did a good job. She was assigned to Higginbottom to start the game, and I thought she really did a good job on her. So it was good to see Poa. It was good to also see Samaya Smith hit some shots and give us good minutes in there. Those two probably are the two that stand out to me, because those two young ladies were big in our run when we won the national championship 2 years ago, and we need them to get back to playing like they're capable of playing.
Hey, Coach Reed, you touched on it a little bit there, but I'm curious, what do you like about the starting lineup you've been using the last few games with Poa and Jersey next to Flage, Lisa, Michaela?
Reed, I just don't. I know when I was a player, starting was a big deal, but as you become a coach, you don't start your 5 best players. And I always tell them you want to be in the rotation of 8 or 9 players. So tomorrow against Auburn, depending on what we want to do defensively, I could start a different young group out there. Is it continuity good? Is it things like that would be great, but I just have a team that honestly I could start some different lineups, and it would depend on who we're playing and what we need. So I just don't get caught up in that 5. The main 3, Flage, Williams, and Morrow. And then after that, it could be anybody.
do one more question here on Zoom, guys.
Hey, Kim, it's Corey. Not to, not to really hammer on the, the incident in New Orleans, but I'm just wondering if you might would have had just a message for your young ladies, after what had transpired and if there's anything that they might could, take from that and sort of heed any sort of advice or message there.
We practiced that day, and before we left, Coach Bob Starkey and I talked to them about it being New Year's Eve. And we talked to them about it wasn't going to be them you worry about. It's others. Kind of like I told my own children growing up, I don't worry about you. I worry about others around you. And we talked about it briefly. It's too close to home. It's too emotional. Izzy Bezelman on our team is an Episcopal graduate. As you well know, Kareem didn't make it, and his parents were looking for him. We talked about all that. I mean, it's right there underneath us, and you can't ignore it. So you just talk about who you knew. Beck's brother. Beck played at LSU, transferred to TCU. You feel like you know these young people personally just because we're from such a small geographic state. And then when you see where everything happened, my own son, he goes, Mom, I was right there last week. Mom, we go there all the time. Mom, that could have been any of us. So it hits young people in such a way that you talk about it. You talk about it. I'm telling you, it's something that's been in my heart. I don't even know if I've stopped paying attention to it long enough to just kind of let it go and breathe, because I'll get back on that bus and plane tonight, and I'm telling you, I will text with somebody, I will see something, I will watch it's just, it is horrific, and it's gut wrenching to think that happened so close to home.
All right, guys, thank you.